Hello, moviegoers, and welcome to Aaron's review. Today, I'm not reviewing a film really. I'm going to rate the 10 Best Picture nominees. That's right, we're here. It's time for the Oscars. And so I'm going to give my 10. It's 10 movies already, but I'm going to go from number 10 to number 1. I only have 30 seconds to justify why I gave this film its position and why it's deserved of its position. So I'll have a timer. Typically, I do, an Aaron's review 1 minute or Aaron's summary 1 minute, but this is just 30 seconds because there's a lot of movies to get through, and we don't want to make this a very long video. So I want to keep it somewhat succinct. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds of each one from number 10 to number 1. Should we do it? Let's do it. Coming in at number 10 out of the 10 Best Picture nominees, I think you probably could guess it if you've watched my reviews, but number 10 is Miss Amelia Perez. Here we go. Let's time me out. I only have 30 seconds. So I want to make this. I've got a lot to say about Miss Perez. In three, two, one. I don't know who this movie is for. It's not for trans people. It's not for women. I don't really think it's not for the Mexican culture. I feel like they've offended. This film has offended every category and demographic of individuals that this movie should be for. It should be for me. I am all for watching an all-woman cast, especially about a trans woman and her journey, and as well as I am Mexican and love to see Mexican culture represented in Spanish, and it's a musical. This should be for me. This is not for me. How to get nominated for Best Picture? Why do people love it? 13 nominations. Sorry, I'm still going off, but it's wild to me. Who likes this movie? I haven't met someone who likes this movie. I have beef with this. And now there's also the controversy with all the tweets that Carla Sofia Gascon has tweeted about back in the day. Which, girl, you were so good in it. You're like one of the silver linings of the movie, and now you're the reason why this film is going to go down in flames for the Oscars. It's a wild journey for it. Number 10. So we didn't start out strong, but we're coming in hot, right? That got me fired up. Very against the Amelia Perez of it all. But I should be so for it. It's disappointing. Number 9. Now we're in a calmer state of films. I don't feel as angry about things. Number 9 is A Complete Unknown. And if you watched my reviews, this was a for me. So we're safe now. And this only one not for me. We're going in three, two, one. This took a second watch. I watched it again with my dad because he loves music biopics. But at first, I was very confused if this would be for me or not for me. And I understand why it's nominated for Best Picture. I get it. But music biopics, I don't. Doing someone's life. I just don't understand it. And then it's a good thing, but I don't know if it's like a good Best Picture nominee. Right? It's like some good acting in it. The directing, it should not be it for Best Director, but it's a good film, and I enjoyed it the second time, and so it's an enjoyable film, and I think many will like that part of it. Right? Doesn't doesn't really ruffle any feathers. It's just an enjoyable watch of Bob Dylan's life. So, but number 9. Coming in at number 8, and I can't believe when I looked at my list, I was like, am I sure? Can't believe it's this low on my list, but it was a competitive year, I think, for film. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break, but I think that also shows how much I love all of these films, really, because now we're just in films I love overall. But number 8 is Dune Part 2. It's number 8. But it is. It's number 8 on this list. We're going in three, two, one. Let me justify why this is at number 8. The 7 to 1, love them too. Love them almost all just as much as this one. I put it lower because I loved Dune Part 1 so much. I'm a world builder kind of film goer. I like to watch worlds be built and get involved. And this was more just action based, which was great. I loved it. And it was much more on the go for Dune. It was more on the go, not as much about the characters. So that's why it's 8. I still love it. Still love it. I'm saying that to myself. I still love it. Don't feel so bad. I love Dune so much. But uh 8. Y'all, that was hard for me. So low on this list, but that's where it is. That's where it is. I gotta let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It's time to move on. Going to number 7. I also cannot believe it's this low, but we're just gonna get over it. Okay, they're all gonna be Good films, great films. But number seven, I'm giving to Nickel Boys. I'm giving to Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys. Okay, we're going in three, two, one. I love Nickel Boys. I love the way that it's shot. I'm a fan of that. Not everyone was. It was all through POV. So we were just being the different characters. I have it on the lower end because um, I think that it is more of an experimental film. Like we're experimenting with how to shoot the film and how to be in a first person character kind of film. So I think it could lose people with that. And so for me, it's great, but maybe not the best. Still love it though. I love Nickel Voice. I feel bad again. Yeah, we're rolling, we're moving. Number six is Conclave. And funny, it's not funny, interesting story, but Conclave was the first film I watched in the cycle of starting to watch Best Picture nominees. I thought, and at the time I thought they would. At the time it wasn't nominated yet, but contenders. So we're going in three, two, one. If Conclave wins, which I think it has now, it has a high possibility that it didn't at the beginning. I would be happy. It's at number six, and it's still a great film, and I think that it deserves of it. It deserves it. Um, I just by putting it lower, just because there's other films that I love a little bit more, just a little bit more. Conclave has great acting. It's all very subtle. It's a great story about this mystery of who's going to be the next pope and politically kind of against each other. That there is a more conservative edge and a more progressive edge to the deciding of the next pope, which was exciting. How do you make choosing a pope exciting? But it was like a thriller. So but it's six, and we'll see why. Ooh, I think I'll make some people upset. We made it. We're in the top five bracket. And number five, I'm actually now thinking about it. Really, I have it this high, but I do. I have it this high. Five is Wicked. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. Conclave and Wicked could be five or six, really. Either way. But let me tell you why it's five. Three, two, one. So this is like old movie magic to me mixed with today. And I think that we need to celebrate that kind of grand scale filmmaking of like kind of with an old style feeling with the new style of filmmaking at the same time. And then on top of it, it's a great musical. I like part Act One better than Act Two, so I'm very interested to see what Part Two is like. But Part One, I think, really has just a great story, and it feels like this old-fashioned movie musical done very beautifully, and as well as like that's it's loved by so many people. It moved so many people, and I think it's timely as well for all the things we're going through about political people disguising their hatred for people. So Wicked is five. All right, we did it. We made it. Before we make it into the top four, here's what I want to say about these four for me. Four for me. Any one of these can win, and I would be like so happy. Any one of these could be a number one film on another year to me. In saying that, the way I scored them then is how rewatchable they are for me, because I think sometimes I pick films that they're how they speak to me, but I think there also needs to be something to be said that it speaks to you, as well as you could watch this film over and over and over again. Just got that thing, right? So that's how I rated these. So these are all one to me, really. But here's how it's going to be rewatchable to Aaron. We're going with number four, and number four is The Brutalist, which most likely will win, I think. But let's see. Three, two, one. I put The Brutalist at four because it's a longer film. It's like 4 hours, so I don't know how much I'll be rewatching this or going back to it. But I will be going back to it in here. I keep thinking about all the themes in it, and I'm truly a person that believes it has a great meaning about that the things that are done to us do not make us. Yeah, that our bodies don't have to be this tomb essentially, like these the buildings are, right? Like these cold places that we can find freedom. There's ways to find freedom outside of ourselves, even when people are oppressing us in whatever way. So it's number four, and if it wins, I'll be happy. But just rewatchable content or not. Number three, I had a hard time with this. This one I really wanted to shoot up to number one, and I'll tell you why it didn't make it to number one in the 30 seconds, but also when I talk about the other films as well. And this is a rewatchable for me. Definitely, I want to rewatch it and I want to show it to other people. But it's number three. I'm still here. Oh, I know. But it's basically a number one too, as well. Here we go. We're going in three, two, one. Oh, so I love this film. It is so rewatchable to me. The ideas of that um, finding joy in the darkness, that the awesome is still going on while the awful is happening, that life still goes on and people are finding their joys. So you've got to find your own joy as you are still fighting the good fight, as well as still feeling like people see and hear you and see and hear those who have come and gone in our lives. So I'm going to rewatch it again. It is rewatchable. I'm going to show people, anyone who wants to watch it at home, I will watch it with you. You hear me? I mean that. So if you are in the vicinity of me, let's watch it. I'm down. But the next two are just going to be forever films for me. Not that those aren't, but these two. Oh, it's so hard. I like all these ones so much. All right, we made it to the next tier. So if these top four are all ones I would want to see win the Oscar for Best Picture, imagine how I feel about these top two. And if those three and four, woo. And I didn't know. I didn't know which way I was going to go with this because literally both these films have become, I've rewatched them 3 to 4 times already. How to make which one number one. So I did it on the one that I think has more likely to win the Oscar, but it's still a little bit edged out for me too as well. Number two is The Substance. I love horror. I'm a horror fan. I've been a horror boy. A horror film is nominated for Best Picture. Sure, it's not like scary, spooky horror, but it is body horror and it's camp and it's about women and it's about ageism. These are all things I need that I would love to watch and want to hear more people discuss and that's going on in our culture. And Demi Moore, oh, love her, loved her forever. So this is just, I've rewatched it multiple times. It's high camp. It's drama, it's comedy, it has something to say, it's disgusting and gross and gnarly in so many ways. It's disgusting, gross, and gnarly that our culture is like this, and it's disgusting, gross, and gnarly the things that happen in it. It's a kick ass film for it. Number two, The Substance. And here we go. The number one film, if you know what the nominations are, you know who's number one. And number one, my light changed. My lights got excited too. But number one is Anora. Yeah, I had a hard time. This was a making this list happen was very easy and then very difficult. So I think that this is let's just go. Three, two, one. I love Honora. It's like a modern day Pretty Woman mixed with, and modern day meaning like a retelling. Like, girl, this is not how Julie Roberts says it. This is how Honora does it, right? And I just love that it had comedy in it. It was lighthearted and fun, but also really dark and deep. And it just was an enjoyable, rewatchable film. And I love the characters in it and just what self love really is and how we have these defenses up and then have to learn to let them go. Yeah, this is such a good film. I don't know if it was meaningful to everyone, but it was meaningful to me. And so that's how I rated them, though. Rewatchable. I've rewatched it multiple times and just enjoy going to that world as well. Which doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best picture out of these, right? That's not what I'm saying. But the top four, I could see win this award, and I would be happy. And to be honest, five, six, seven as well. Like they are all very deserving of it. But the top four could all be interchangeable for a number one. I just did number two and number one as rewatchable things I've rewatched already and can't wait to rewatch again. And if you haven't seen Anora, really go watch it. I think that it's a little film that if it had bigger stars in it, people would have seen this film and laughed and enjoyed it and the darkness and the humor of it. It's a great film. I hope it wins and so more people see it. Any of these films, to be honest. That's Aaron's review. We're here. Oscar season, award season is almost done. I've really enjoyed watching these films, and I hope to watch more great films this year. Happy award season.